Hey guys, it's Kelly and welcome back to my channel. Today I am so excited because we are doing the Grand Highlander. I have been waiting months to get my hands on this car in a way where I could actually drive it for a week as a mom of three to see how it would function for a family. If this is your first time joining me, I'm Kelly and I'm the car mom. I review cars for moms and families. I'm a mom of three and I'm a certified child passenger safety tech. And let's get into the very anticipated, very impressive Toyota Grand Highlander. Okay, a couple of things to note about the Grand Highlander. It's in the name, it's bigger than the current Highlander. I have heard rumblings and rumors that Toyota hopes to have this Grand Highlander replace the current Highlander, which if I'm honest, I think is an actual really good idea by Toyota because the current Highlander is so small, so compact, has so many problem areas that don't function well for a family, and they're kind of solving a lot of that with the Grand Highlander. So I think it's gonna be a hard case to buy a Highlander where you could buy this one. I also have been loving this one specifically. This is the Hybrid Max version, and my fuel economy has been incredible. I'm averaging about 26, 27 without even trying. Like, I'm talking about like idling. So I've been driving this car for a week and I love the drive. I'm not the biggest performance girl out there, but this vehicle drives great. It's very powerful. I feel like I have no problem merging, accelerating on the highway, but it's also still nice to kind of like zip around town in. When you have that hybrid kind of technology, in this one specifically, you can almost kind of operate on like that one pedal driving. So when you take your foot off the accelerator with the regenerative braking that's in this kind of car, it almost starts to kind of slow down for you so you don't have to use your brake quite as often. It is definitely worth test driving if you can get your hands on one because I've really enjoyed the drive. Okay, the exterior of the Grand Highlander, I think it looks pretty good. Do I think this is the most like innovative car on the market right now? No. Do I think like the Palisade, the new Mazda, do they look more futuristic and a little bit more stylish? Absolutely. So let's just get that out of the way. I don't think this is the most stylish thorough SUV you can buy. I just don't. I think there's a lot of other things I like about, which we'll get to. But first, let's get to the side profile and just take a look at her size. Significantly bigger than the Highlander, but let's kind of talk about where she lines up through the other cars in her class. So if we have like the largest being the Traverse, the new Acadia, the Honda Pilot, and the smallest being the Kia Sorento, the current Highlander, she is in the middle on the slightly bigger end. I'll put her there. It's not quite as big as the Traverse and the Acadia. It doesn't quite have the leg room as the Palisade or the Telluride. However, she has got a lot of trunk space. So I think when you're trying to figure out what midsize SUV works for you, it's really important to make sure you think about what your specific needs are. If you're after a lot of trunk space, she's a good option. If you're after the most third row legroom, she's not your option. Okay, and then here's a look at our back end. I don't think I said, but this is the limited trim level, so just something to note. Love the Grand Highlander. So subtly, kind of like embossed onto here. I think that's kind of nice. It's not too much in your face. Also, how cute are these little ghosts? You can get these at shopthecarmomofficial.com. We'll put a link in the bio. Where will we put it? We'll put a link in the description box below. Okay, let's get in the car. All right, here's a shot of me in the driver's seat of this Grand Highlander Limited. Pretty comfortable. Seats are nice and comfy. My headroom is great in this car. If we take a look at our door panel, you know, they keep it simple, they keep it basic. We're not met with like 17 different materials and contrast stitching. It's honestly pretty freaking simple. We do have a side cubby right there. Let's see if my Stanley fits. Doesn't fit, but you know what? You will have that. Right here we have our heated steering wheel and our power trunk. I like that on this button could both open and close it from here. It's crazy enough, not every car has the option to open and close it from here. So it's actually appreciating that. Okay, let's get you on the other side and we'll start breaking down some of the tech. One thing that I thought was pretty and kind of unique about this Grand Highlander was their rose gold accents. You don't see that a lot, and I think it's actually, I'm kind of into it. Maybe that's just like the millennial in me, but I think the rose gold is stunning. We have a digital display right here, and then we get into our nice big display. So everything is full color. We have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and it's your standard Toyota screen. Like, you know, I like it. I think it's user-friendly. I don't think it's anything overly special or overly complicated. I think they've done a good job of like pulling like obviously our climate control out and giving us a good screen to button ratio. That's always important to me. I felt like the rear climate was very easy to control from up here as well, which now that I have older kids who are complaining all the time, I like being able to change that quickly. Vents are down here. Charging, a lot of good strategically placed USBs. So we have 2 right here, and then we also have 1 up here for our passenger. Okay, let's break down some of my storage, because I always think it's so funny to see how the different manufacturers design this. So we have nothing here. I mean, I guess a place maybe for you to put your phone. I wish it was indented a little bit, just so it felt a little bit more like storage, like a place to throw a lip gloss or something, because here it's just going to roll around. I like our wireless charging right there. I like when I can actually see it. And then we have this, which I'm into for the Stanley of it all. I think that fits great. And then 2 cup holders here as well. This back one is smaller than the front one, which is also weird, but okay. And then for our center console, you just open it right there. This whole thing doesn't pop open, it's just right there instead. It is a decent size center console, especially for the size of the car, but just kind of strange. Okay, I do want to talk about the space of this car. So behind me, I have a rear-facing Kleck Foomp, and this seat I have set for myself. I have very little clearance, and I wish I had just a little bit more room for the size of this SUV. Now, I'm 6 feet tall, and that's a big car seat. So if you have a different combination, this might not be a factor for you, but I just wanted to give you a shot of what I look like in this passenger seat with a rear-facing car seat. You know, I'm comfy. Like, the legroom does extend here. This thing just kind of comes out kind of far. So depending on how you like to keep your legs. I know I'm being picky, but I just want to show you guys. All right, let's break down the car seat setup. So the Grand Highlander comes in both a bench seat and captain's chairs. The bench seat is a unicorn. They're hard to find. Of course, that's not the one they sent me to review. I don't know if you can fit 3 across. I would imagine you could. This vehicle feels decently wide, and I would be surprised if you couldn't. If you get the bench seat option, you're not going to have an additional set of lower anchors in the middle seat, but you will have a tether anchor. When you have the captain's chairs options, here's how this car seat situation shakes out. In the captain's chairs, lower anchor, tether anchor. In the 3rd row, behind the passenger, you do have a set of lower anchors, which was great. You also have a tether anchor in that seat. In the middle seat, you have a tether anchor, and you have nothing on the driver's side. Okay, another thing to talk about with the Grand Highlander in terms of a car seat setup is that these 2nd row seats are on tracks, and the tracks make a significant difference. So if the seat is moved all the way forward or all the way back, it's really going to affect how this vehicle functions for the family. This seat is pushed all the way back, so I'm giving the least amount of legroom to the 3rd row, but I'm giving the most amount of legroom to the 2nd row, aka the most amount of clearance to a tall driver like this. So I want to give you a shot of what that clearance looks like with a rear-facing seat, with the seat pushed all the way back, and as you can see, I don't have a ton of clearance. Okay, let's start breaking down this 2nd row a little bit more. So here's my legroom, this seat all the way back, this seat set for myself. So again, this car does not have quite as much legroom, about 3 inches less, as something like the Hyundai Palisade or the Kia Telluride, which have best-in-class 2nd row legroom. 2nd row legroom is important for people who have older passengers or car seats because it kind of plays a role into that clearance. But this is all the way back, so if I wanted to give my 3rd row more legroom, here's what I would look like. Either way, I'm comfortable. Like, I want to make that clear. Either way, I'm comfortable. It's enough legroom for me. Just wanted to point out the differences. Let's break down this door panel a little bit. Sunshades, we love to see it. We love built-in sunshades. This is the strangest cubby I've ever seen. It says don't put drinks there. It's not big enough for a phone. It's like almost peanut shaped. Like, what even is it for? I have no idea. And then a little cubby there as well. A nice leather-backed pocket. And then as far as my amenities are concerned, we do have ceiling vents, that great panoramic sunroof, heated seats, my climate control, USB-Cs on both sides. We also have a center console, or not a center console, a cup holder situation thing. You know, it comes out, which is very nice. It comes out easily. This only comes out in the higher 2 trim levels, which makes negative sense to me. It should come out in all the trim levels because I do like it. Unless you want 3rd row access, then it defeats the whole purpose of it. So kind of a weird, there's just like some weird decisions in this car, you know? Okay, for our 3rd row access, we have a tilt and slide. So actually a very nice wide aisle to get back there. Let's pop back. Okay, and then here I am in the 3rd row. So let's break down the car seat setup a little bit more. This is a Graco Slim Fit 3LX, and I had my 4-year-old son here, and he was able to still fit his legs in between these two. He was comfortable, he wasn't complaining. Again, good amenities with the ceiling vents right here, USB-C chargers and cup holders on both sides. Like the fact that these cup holders are some of the best in class in this car. I don't know, strange. Okay, back to the car seat setup for a second. So I want to break down this tether situation issue, because if you have forward-facing car seats, this is important and I want to explain why. So you need a tether anchor for a forward-facing car seat. So there's one here, there's one here, there's not one in this seat. So that means the only spot that you could put a forward-facing car seat in the third row is here, technically here, but this is a lot smaller, and I would not want to install a car seat here. One, it's going to totally block your visibility. Also, I just don't think you'd be able to get quite as good as install, and I think it would bleed onto the the car seat would overhang onto the other seats because of how small this middle seat is. So that means basically you can put your forward-facing car seat here. So if you need 4 car seats or 2 forward-facing car seats, you cannot put 2 forward-facing car seats back here. So not a deal breaker. It just feels like Toyota. Add one. How much could a tether anchor cost? 35 cents? Put one in every seat. Give us moms the flexibility to put our kids where we want. Okay, let's talk about legroom though. Wow. So with this seat pushed all the way forward, which I showed you was not uncomfortable for me as a second row passenger, I am upset. Look at this legroom. It feels good. My headroom feels good. My shoulder room feels good. I'm honestly very comfortable. If we wanted to move it all the way back, because let's be realistic, I'm braced up against it. I mean, I wouldn't want to drive back here for a long time, but it's fine. It's fine. It's so much better than the current Highlander, so you feel like you're winning there. Okay, and now one of the stars of the show is the trunk space. Really, really good trunk space in this car. This is the Upper Vista stroller. I have it in here with room to spare. Groceries on either side, any of it. Let's pull it out and give you guys kind of a look. It's very wide. It's also very deep. Under here we don't have much, but a little bit of extra storage. And then the seats are very easy to fold completely flat as well. So very impressed with the cargo space upgrades in this compared to your typical Highlander. And here's just kind of a visual of that tether anchor situation I was explaining earlier. So thank you guys so much for tuning in for this very exciting Grand Highlander tour. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the Grand Highlander and which vehicle you would like me to compare this car to. I think this is going to be a very good seller for Toyota, but I'm curious to see if you guys like it or what else you think I should compare it to.